Reach is a nonprofit with a mission to champion the arts as an indispensable set of tools for social impact. REACH is actually an acronym. It stands for the power of the arts to revitalize, educate, activate, connect, and heal our communities. This is the underappreciated story of arts in hospitals, prisons, schools, and rehabs, domestic violence centers, homeless shelters, and beyond. We believe in the profound, diverse ways that the arts serve our civic needs. Our first programs are specifically focused on the healing arts, and in this segment, we're going to introduce you to some incredible individuals whose lives have been profoundly changed by the arts. These individuals are inspired voices of resilience. In this segment, we will not only center their voices, we will also celebrate their lives with poetic tributes to their stories of healing, brought to us by poets Raul Herrera and Violeta Esquivel, two wonderful poets from GetLit, an incredible nonprofit that uses poetry to increase literacy, empower youth, and inspire communities. These individuals are a testament to the intimate, personal power of the creative revolution Ken spoke about. I hope they bring you hope and inspire you to help grow the advocacy community we're creating at REACH. Thank you for your time. And thank you to Kate, James, Terry, and the whole Robinson tribe for supporting these efforts. Most of all, thank you to Ken for being an inspiration and for being a wonderful, steadfast friend. First up, I'd like to introduce Amy Carlson, a disability advocate who found the Dance for PD program at Lineage Performing Arts Center to be a healing, empowering force in dealing with Parkinson's. She'll be followed by our poet from GetLit, Raul Herrera, who will be doing tribute poems for each of our guests.
My name is Amy Carlson, and the Healing Arts Program Dance for PD and Lineage Performing Arts Center helps me heal with Parkinson's disease and helps me find hope and freedom through dance. Healing in the context of Parkinson's, a chronic neurodegenerative disorder that has no cure, is bittersweet. Through dance, I have come to learn how to dance with the devil rather than vanquish it. My Midwestern work ethic was designed around contributing to the gross national product. When my Parkinson's advanced enough that I had to give up my career, I was useless. I had no productive purpose in the world, no real value. When I walked into the Lineage Performing Arts Center for a free dance class for Parkinson's, I was disabled and a drain on society. At the first class, a love affair with dance was sparked, and things began to change. First, dance created a new communicating movement. I was able to access movement in a new way. I began to move with a beauty and grace that exceeded my movement capabilities prior to my diagnosis. Second, the arts gave me a space to explore my anger, frustration, and pain. That exploration has led to a peace and has given meaning to the life I've been called to live. Third, I refocused the skills I learned in my career in engineering, and together with other people living in the ability margin, and with the support of Lineage Performing Arts Center, we have built a strong and vibrant community. Isolation means death in Parkinson's disease. Community is essential to life. The support, the camaraderie, just being seen provides a base of hope that is essential for healing and building strength. This community has ultimately used its strength to make change. Whether it's rapping to sway Congress, dancing with leading neurologists to encourage patient participation in research, singing to raise funds for programming, or acting in films designed to educate, we are changing lives. I have achieved a connection to movement that allows me to dance with my Parkinson's disease. Parkinson's disease may have my life, but through the arts, my soul soars. Imagine if everyone had a connection to the arts throughout their whole lives, a space for understanding and exploration, healing and connection, then we might all soar.
Ode to Amy. The story begins with a Midwestern girl, middle class, civil engineer, one of the only women in her class, who made a career out of breaking ceilings made of glass. And then the day came where your life was turned upside down. a diagnosis that became an obstacle with seemingly no way around. But Art became a well-known stranger that emerged from the background. It must have been your Midwestern mentality that got you through the hardship, that taught you how to be independent, that got you through the nights where your body wouldn't listen, that gave you the perseverance to learn a new language, and dance became the eloquent syllables that gave you back your movement. Dance helped turn your voice into a powerful tremor that you use to move an audience. Your story is a crescendo of a second act play. Your life, a snapshot of a ballerina in mid-plie. Your limbs, like the fins of dolphins, gracefully gliding through the turbulent waters of life. It was dance that gave your smile a second chance, that gave you another spark in your passionate heart. Whether it's through Zoom or Zumba, Amy, you are art. And I want to thank you for letting us be your witness.
Next, I'd like to introduce Cynthia Lopez, a survivor of domestic violence who found effective therapy and a loving community for herself and her children with the Healing Arts program at A Window Between Worlds, also known as Windows.
Hi, my name is Cynthia, and the Healing Art program at A Window Between Worlds helped me heal from the trauma endured through domestic violence. I went through physical, emotional, sexual, and financial abuse. I was controlled to the point of how many miles I drove daily, how I cooked my eggs, how I dressed. It affected me in so many ways. Mainly, I lost myself. My self-worth was at a low. It made me very ugly inside and negative. I felt helpless, I felt alone, I was embarrassed and ashamed. I felt like a failure. I tried to leave and I always ended up right back. That mental game's something ugly. Through it all, I did my best to continue to be a mom, which at times made us fight more, my abuser and I. But I didn't care. Nothing comes before my babies. Windows is awesome. The program, the women, the area, the art, the whole vibe brought a peace to my heart that I forgot was there. The day I brought my daughter to an art workshop at Windows, it opened up a window which was life-saving for us. Not even realizing that my daughter had these feelings inside her made me feel horrible. Here I am thinking I'm being Mom of the Year, and I missed these signs. However, thanks to Windows, I watched my baby create a piece of art that showed me she was feeling exactly what I was. That entire drive home, we talked, and I said, I'm mad. And she asked me, why, Mom? I'm glad. What do you mean you're glad? Yeah, look how strong this made us. I thank him for what he put us through. We're stronger because of it. I was in awe of her strength, and that caused me to know that I can never be weak again. Everybody at Windows always make me feel like my voice matters. My first Windows class, I was mad. I hated art. I'm not an artist. By the end of that class, I didn't want to stop. I was addicted. Every Wednesday at 5:30, I was there at Windows ready to do my art. I noticed over time what the art was doing for me. When I began, my color scheme was dark. It was ugly. My pieces had no life. After a few years of doing my art, all my pieces had yellows and purples and oranges. They had life again. I shared more and more through art the things that hurt me. And I knew they hurt, but I also knew that I needed to create them to heal. My twins were murdered due to the violence I endured, and I was in a very ugly space when I began. Without Windows, my kids may have never healed or spoke about the trauma. I may have never shared the things with them that I did. I think due to us going through the Windows program, it made me not sugarcoat anything anymore. It made me be able to speak to my kids and open up a window where we could just share together. Imagine if healing was normal. Imagine if a survivor wasn't shamed for going through an ugly cycle. Imagine if we lived in a world with no judgment. Imagine if everyone was able to have a voice to share. Imagine if everyone was able to have endless art supplies and create whenever they wanted.
Ode to Cynthia. I want to talk about windows. How sometimes they're the only way to get out. how we close the curtains to cover ourselves, how looking outside can be a cry for help. And you said you never noticed it before, on the streets, on the walls of a museum, in you. You said you never noticed it before. And then it noticed you through a window called Christie. And then it was everywhere, on your daughter's hands as she painted her memories, on a canvas, broad stroked with purple and yellow, and the letters you exchange in a notebook with your mother. Art, sometimes, can be the only way we can escape from the yelling, from the running, from the years of abuse. Your daughter taught you to laugh so loud you can't hear the anger coming from the living room the babysitter fell through. No safe place to go to. But that didn't stop you from sculpting a brighter future, from turning your pain into paint, from creating a touchstone drawn in red. Art makes you remember the fire in your chest. Art makes you work through it, makes you stop and process the toxins that have been poisoning your life and your love. Try it once, says Cynthia, the rabbit who escaped by gnawing the bars of a cage. Try it once and watch the windows open so you can finally let your light out, so you can finally let the light come in.
Next up is Charisma, a formerly gang-involved youth who survived years of abuse and found healing with the Homeboy Arts Academy out of Homeboy Industries, with the support of its founder, Fabian Deborah. She is now on a great path, helping other youth as a mentor and guide.
My name is Charisma Brown. I go to the healing program at Homeboy's Art Academy. I first came to Homeboys when I was 15 years old. I was fighting a case. I was still like running amok in the streets, drugs, gangbanging, stuff like that. And I had to do like 6 months camp. I was fighting life. Me and my friends, we were fighting life for the death of my friend, even though we didn't kill him. And then eventually, I got off the hook for it. And I went to Homeboys to look for resources and help with school, try to figure out if I could have got a job at 15. Then eventually, I started to work there, and that's how I met Fabian. He used to drug test me. Like, he used to come all the time, harassing me, talking about, do I smoke weed? I was still smoking weed, of course. I was like 15 years old. But he kept on it. He kept on me, and then eventually, I grew out of it, 19, 20, and I started to really work with Fabian in his art academy, and now I'm an arts youth navigator there. I'm going to school for business, got my high school diploma, and I'm changing my life. I know a long time ago that art would eventually play a bigger part in my life, but I really didn't accept it at first until I started to take the steps to change my life, like going to college, finishing high school, and I actually had more time with it. So now I see the process of how it helped me grow and how it's helping me heal and how it's helping a lot of different students heal. I never even thought I'd be at the age of 23, growing up where I grew up, being in and out of jail, seeing a lot of drug abuse. It just was an exit for me. It was like a very positive thing to do. Every day I would want to, take a moment, sit down, draw some things out, draw some tattoos out that I would want to put on myself. I think more people should focus on like art and help students and help youth. It's a good resource. It helped me. It got me to doing different things and thinking about a future, I'm growing from the healing process of art, seeing how we can grow as a community and seeing how students there grow with art. So I really do think art is like a good technique to heal, just like therapy. It helped me out a lot. Imagine if there was more programs like my art program that I go to help a lot of these kids going through substance abuse, drug abuse, gang abuse. Imagine if these kids had a arts healing program.
Ode to Charisma. You weren't lost. You were in search of direction. A young soul caught in the harsh winds of corrections, and it was at 15 where your freedom became a fleeting dream. Sometimes you must fight yourself to find yourself. Sometimes it's okay to ask for help. And you decided to become more than what you were surrounded by. And although it took a couple of tries and a couple of failed tests with homeboy Fabian always watching nearby, you have become the captain of your own ship, rewrote your life through the drawings on a canvas, charisma the navigator, helping others with guidance who may be caught in the storm. You are opening the door for yourself and so many others, for your home sisters, for your home brothers, and you never thought you'd see the age of 23. And look at you now, alive and well with so many dreams, soaring like a bald eagle because you're so dominant, using your fingertips to sketch out your own fate. And now your future will not be taken away because it's yours to take.
Next up is my friend June Segar, an arts advocate who was homeless before finding the healing arts programs at Piece by Piece, a nonprofit which teaches mosaic artwork to the homeless community as a path to healing and a bridge to services.
My name is June Segar, and I'm an artist, mosaic artist with a program called Piece by Piece in Los Angeles. I found Piece by Piece when I was homeless. I was very ill. I was living on the street with breast cancer. I was at that point in my life, very depressed. I didn't have a place to stay. I really didn't know myself. I really didn't love myself. I was out there fighting, trying to save my life. I went to Martin Luther King Hospital where I met a social worker who introduced me to another social worker, which was downtown. And they offered me home, apartment, and I was able to have a place to live and go to the hospital and get my diagnosis and take my treatment and really just heal. You know, being able to sleep, being able to be in an atmosphere where I could take care of myself was very important. I lived in this apartment building on Skid Row for about maybe 4 years or so. And then I found Piece by Piece and stayed with them for about 3 and became this mosaic artist that I just love being. I'm creating portraits and particular portrait art of individuals or people that I care about, that I read about, that resonate in my life, that has helped me to feel good about myself, to realize that my journey is everybody else's journey and my issues are like everyone else. We're all trying to overcome being on the street and being homeless and trying to stay healthy. That's the most important thing, is getting that mental health so that you can take care of the physical health so the spirit can fly. And I think through Piece by Piece, they definitely have given me new wings to soar. So mosaic is a healing thing. It's about using what you have and making the best out of what you got, and learning how to use recycled materials is a beautiful thing. And then having a community that holds you accountable to your work. I never would have imagined being able to go downtown Los Angeles and show my art to millions of people that come by and just want to say, hey, who's doing this? What is this mosaic art? I wanted to show that I had an ability and that I wasn't just a nobody, that I am someone, that I can contribute to society and give back something that is totally eye-captivating. I hope that what I do in terms of my art, I hope what I can say can maybe help someone else along the way, to let them know that there's hope and that we can overcome obstacles in life. No one has to stay in a situation unless they choose to, you know, and there's help out here. And I'm very grateful that I found that. Yeah. Imagine if you were a woman out on the street going through a domestic situation with nowhere to go. Imagine you being sick and having cancer or debilitative disease and you couldn't get any help. Where would one go? Without arts, I don't think that the world can make it. We need that therapy. It's very important.
Ode to June. This is a testimony of hope, a matrimony of resilience and growth, a reminder to shake yourself up and to shake yourself off, to not be another victim of the system. June, you might have learned it from your parents, how to fight hard, how to grow a garden covered in potatoes and carrots. Growing is an art. It tells us how to feed the lioness in our heart. It tells us how to move on, how to accept the light of dawn. It tells us that love and kindness are the greatest forms of self-expression. It tells us that harsh weather is a harsh lesson. Tells us that we are plants that just need a little bit of water. Tells us to leave an abusive partner. Tells us to pick ourselves up piece by piece until our life becomes a beautiful mosaic of all the things that try to tear off our leaves. June, you are garden material. You replanted your roots and made yourself a beautiful family tree, 5 grandkids, a front yard of sage and rosemary. And when Hodgkins tried to take you, you said no. And when the world covered you in dirt, you said grow. How far you've come, how far you'll go. Growing is an art. So June, you're an artist. Patchworking together tiny pieces until a mosaic is grown. And those pieces aren't broken. They're just pieces, still looking for home.
This next piece, from 15-year-old poet Violeta Esquivel, was originally set to simply be an Imagine If poem to close out the event. However, after sharing my deeply personal passion for the healing arts and the way that it helped my family, Violeta wound up surprising us with a beautiful tribute to the healing journey of our son, Aiden. Aiden was still 6 years old at the start of 2019 when he was diagnosed with stage 3 cancer. In an instant, our family was thrown into the most grueling nightmare you can imagine. We held our son's hand as he went through 63 treatments of chemo and radiation. It was unbearable. But we were blessed to be at a hospital that funded a healing arts program. And in the midst of his suffering, anxiety, and pain, a kind-hearted Celtic harpist came in and played soothing melodies for him. The music eased his anxiety and fears, bringing him peace and comfort, helping him sleep so his body could rest and heal when he needed it most. And we will forever be grateful to the healing arts staff at that hospital and to the way that the arts helped us and continues to help us to this day to heal. So here's a piece from Violeta Esquivel devoted to our son Aiden. Thank you.
She is a music woman, harp-playing woman. She is a healing woman. With every plucked string, she lifts his wings. Strong, beautiful. Hurting child becomes a healing child. She knows something the doctors don't. Somehow she knows to treat this one rhythmic life less like a computer, prescriptive and fixed, fearful of what miracles can do, and more like Santa Ana winds, dancing through the trees and wind chimes, beside hospital windows, ushering the only lessons that truly ever matter. Like the medicinal nature of sound, how if we allow it to, it will carry us through the wounds of clinical disappointment, warming fingers against instrument strings to thread a patchwork quilt of peace around a chemo-fatigued patient. Set healing loose, she teaches the child that time can never be his enemy, when the highest standard of beauty is faith through patience. In his lullaby is a promise that everything falls into place, that there is bravery in appreciating life in the face of illness. She plays a song of little to no words, and yet it tells him of how the sky carries the wind, how the birds love the trees, how the sun honors the moon. She plays a song that speaks the language of white blood cells, one of rest from internal war. He believes her. Healing child, though tired and weak, absorbs strength from his moments of peace. She gives and he receives, an exchange of understanding. Like her, he knows something the doctors don't, that music is his miracle.
I hope you've been moved by the stories and poetry we shared, and that you're inspired to take a fresh look at the profound power of the arts to heal us. More broadly speaking, I hope that you're inspired to keep Sir Ken's legacy alive, more alive than ever before. He may not physically be with us to lead this movement for creative and spiritual revolution, but as long as there is life in us and our voices are ready to testify to the world we can create together, this movement will thrive. I hope as we move forward that we'll take a second look at the things we take for granted, whether it's the profound social impact of the arts, the untapped creative potential of the human family, or the life-sustaining beauty of this fragile planet. Imagine if we saw the world with fresh eyes. To that end, I'd like to close out with the following poem, which I wrote as a tribute to Sir Ken. Granted. The dawn invites us to revel in its arrival, eyes wide and blinking, speechless at the bounty of a new earth. This day comes to us, as all days do, like a steadfast lover, waiting patiently on the doorstep for the shuttered eyelids of its beloved to unfold. This day reminds us that it is an intimate stranger that we've never known before, not like this. And yet, for all its novel mysteries and morning glories, it arrives humbly, not pounding at the door, but whispering tenderly, "Come, see." What a gift it is to be here still, to drink deep the dew of morning, to breathe its soft light into longing lungs. What a gift to celebrate that life is here at all, on our doorstep, within our grasp.